Hello and welcome into my latest live feed. Today is the 24th of October. You know how you know it's the 24th of October? This will be a giveaway right here. That's how you know. You're not going to see this in June, that's all I'm saying, or March. This is your proof. This is your evidence. This is the date. So it used to be we could hold a newspaper up and show the date, but you guys don't know what newspapers are anymore. I don't even think they make them. They're hard to find. Welcome in, everybody. Hopefully you can hear and see me okay. As you can see, we've got nuka-cola heaven right here. There's 3 of the 4 builds. And I got my nuka-cola right here. I was at the Spirit Halloween store and they have the nuka-cola hand, the laser gun that she's holding here. It's got a little bottle cap at the end of it, and it's just $20 for that at the Halloween store. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna spend $20 for a prop I'm gonna use once, but I did think about it. I thought about it. If I'm honest, I put it in my hand, I fired it a few times. I said, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm so tempted. How's everybody doing today? Hope you're doing well. Boy, I need a Coke. Some people have been asking lately when I go live. They're not getting notifications or what have you. And generally speaking, I go live between 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. Generally, if I'm going to go live that day, that's when you can check in. Obviously, you should be getting notifications. If you have subscribed to the channel, be sure you can click the little, there's like an outline of a bell right next to the subscribe button, or where the subscribe button used to be when you press it. And you have to check a little box because it is not checked by default to tell YouTube you want to be notified when new content is posted. You could also follow me via Twitter. And I hope by 2019 we will have some sort of a regular schedule, like every Tuesday from 1 to 5, something like that. We'll get it figured out. Subaru Mike reached out to me yesterday. He said he wants to do a once a week Subaru Q&A. And I'm like, do you have enough content for that? And he's like, do you have scotch? So I guess we're gonna do that too. So let me just get this air conditioning turned down in here. It's a hot day today. I think we're up to around 90 degrees Fahrenheit today. It's hot, 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 and we had all kinds of rain yesterday, even though that wasn't even in the forecast. So welcome to the desert. This system belongs to John. This system belongs to Rodney. And this system belongs to Andrew. All right, you got that? John, I feel like a part of the Beatles. It's Carey. Me and John are thinking of getting the band back together. No? No? Stick to my day job? That is my day job. Well, let's see. Hello to Cullen Hilton, Thomas Carter, Robert Jones, Peter Rayner. Peter says, hey, Carey. Tomorrow I'm getting the Scythe, Scythe? I always want to say Civ. Sounds like Sith to me. The Scythe Mugen 5 Revision B CPU cooler. I wrote to the gentleman over at Scythe. Anyway, I wrote to him and I said, this may be my new favorite cooler of all time. I think, it's a bit more money, obviously, than the Hyper 212, but it's twice the cooler. For less, well, it's not quite twice the cooler and it's not quite twice the price, but the install was so good. Oh yeah, it was a good install, baby. I gotta go get a cigarette after that. It was a good install. Real nice. What's wrong with you? Talking about the cooler and how easy it was to install. Stay with me, focus. Okay, so he said, the guy over at Scythe, he said he wanted to send me, one of the bigger ones that's like a dual radiator with 2 fans. I go, honestly, I would be very reluctant to ship a computer across the United States with a cooler that heavy in the computer. So I'd rather not even look at it. I'm sure it cools well. It's probably similar to the Noctua. I think these coolers are superior to Noctua. I think the installation is superior. I think the tools that come with the cooler are superior. I think the cooling is equivalent, if not better than, the equivalent Noctua. The price is better than Noctua. Now the only question is, how will the fans hold up? So I've asked the gentleman at Scythe to send me, they have a smaller cooler that's more along the line of the Hyper 212 Evo in size and price. So I've asked them to send me that. And I asked them to send me 2 of their case fans. And I'll swap out the case fans in my build with theirs, and we'll see how they hold up in this dusty environment that is Phoenix. It's a very good test for fans. In the meantime, if you're looking for a great CPU cooler, and remember, I'm not paid by them. I would like to be. I would let them sponsor me if they wanted to. But if you're looking for a great CPU cooler for an Intel or AMD platform, definitely look at that Mugen 5 Revision B. That's just amazing. It's just the perfect balance of everything as far as I'm concerned. If you're looking to overclock, then you should be looking at a liquid cooler. You could do some overclocking with it, don't get me wrong, but there's better choices for that. It's much quieter than the stock fan. It weighs 20 degrees Celsius, as you witnessed, cooler than the stock CPU fan. And I'm just overall tickled, Look, you guys have seen me review products. You've seen me just hammer on products that don't make sense to me, why manufacturers do certain things that just aren't logical. If I had a choice between an Arctic freezer and the Scythe, I'm taking the Scythe all day long. The installation's so far superior, so far. Like if you watch me, first of all, the whole idea that Arctic freezer says that they're not going to include documentation, and yet they also didn't include any links, it was just a QR code, they're off my list, they're done. When you saw me struggle to install that cooler with 27 years of professional experience, and I put everything on wrong, every literal thing I put on wrong. And yet with the Scythe cooler, which came with very good, clear documentation, everything went on perfectly the first time with me, one exception, and that was me failing to remove the little piece of tape. After I warned everybody not to do that, I did it myself. But I wish that the little piece of tape had like an orange tab or something that stuck out of the side of it, so it was clear when I was installing it that I hadn't removed it. The only way I knew I didn't remove it was to turn it over and look. And I think the Evo 212 does that, where it's kind of like a little tab sticks out to one side. It should be brightly colored, and it should say remove or pull something. Other than that, they give you plenty of thermal compound, unlike Arctic freezer. That had a big issue with the little baggie of thermal compound, which wasn't quite enough, and you can't save it for later. The fans mount similar with those wire hangers between the Arctic and the Scythe, but they're pretty much the same there. There's nothing, neither one is better in that category. So if I'm spending my money, I'm buying the Mugen Revision B, the Mugen 5. That's what I'm buying. That's what I'm using on my personal rig right now, and we'll see how it holds up over time, but obviously the only concern will be the fan. And what else was I going to tell you? Oh, I offered the gentleman over at Scythe, I said, if you want to send me like a dozen of these or 5 of these, I'll be happy to offer them to my customers for free, and I will showcase them on the builds. So it gives you brand awareness. I won't charge you anything for it. The customers get a free cooler and you get the advertising. And if you want to talk about that, it's a good place to start, because I'm right behind it. I will gladly endorse that and suggest it and evangelize it. It's fantastic, really. Who knew? I never heard of this company. They just hit it right out of the park. Home run, perfect, beautiful, love it. Okay. Hello to Franklin Adams, Elhaz Tepej, Robert Jones, Ben DeCure, Michael C, Keith W, Jesse Kirk, Alan E, Magni Johansson, Thomas Carter, Colin Hilton, William Dawson, Tweaks, Stephen Barber. Looking for my wrenches. Zoom. I think I got all my wrenches. All those people in blue, those are regulars here to the channel. They're shown to be supportive and kind to other people, and I have elevated them to moderator status because they've earned it. You too can earn moderator status. Simply behave in a kind and supportive way to other individuals in the chat. Who knows, you might just make a friend IRL. It's possible. In the meantime, we support each other here in this community. This is what we do here. This is our escape from the real world where like-minded individuals who enjoy computers and technology can get together and enjoy watching repairs, watching builds, watching product reviews, and looking at non-traditional ways upon which I go about doing PC repairs and maintenance. I come from the old school, the oldest school, when computers were brand new. And I think if you watch the old guys, I guess I'm an old guy now. If you watch the old guys, you watch the way they handle parts. They handle parts, look at Steve Wozniak. He picks up a classic, like original Apple circuit board. He just flops it around, sticks it under his arm. I mean, it's a priceless piece of history. He's just like flopping it down. Because people who understand electronics know it's not fragile. They know you don't have to baby it. You know, I really want to give you some of the warning signs of what to watch for from other individuals, especially other YouTube creators, who are mishandling parts or offering fraudulent or incomplete information, or information they didn't understand properly, and then they translated it to a language they could understand, and then in the process end up saying something inaccurate. So one of the things I like to do here is emphasize what real techs do, not enthusiasts who make YouTube videos. I get paid to work on computers from clients, and when I work on them and I deliver them, I'm held responsible for that computer to maintain working indefinitely. And if it doesn't, then they call me again, and I want that to happen. That's how I stay in business. Tech enthusiasts, they just make videos on products. They don't have any accountability or liability to anybody. Maybe they might use a product themselves, maybe they don't, but the only person it affects negatively, if it affects anybody negatively, is them, and they may not share that with you. I also like to go back and revisit products I reviewed that I actually use and rely on, because nobody seems to do that. Why? So, for example, you'll see my Intel NUC build that I did over 5 years ago, and then 3 years later, I follow up with it, and I try to follow up with it every year to give you an update on how the machine's running over the course of the years. Some people say, well, what's the point? That computer's obsolete, you can't buy it. But what you can do is you can get an idea of what the company is like, what kind of product the company makes. And if I had any problems, I will share what the problem was, if the company was responsive, if the company was supportive. And based on that, then I can recommend future products from the company, assuming that that is the norm for that specific manufacturer. And other channels, I just don't see that done. They review a product, they have it 2 weeks, and then they say, yeah, you should buy this. They have no respect for the value of your money. It's very easy to spend other people's money. Just ask my wife. What? All right. Jens Carlson's contributed to a 50 Swedish krona. Thank you, Jens. Is it Jens? Jens? Moderator status for Jens. And let me take a look here. Let me look at the chat. Tony says, hello from Iowa. Hi, Tony. Thanks for joining us today. Oh, that's good. Why isn't Coke sponsoring me? Oh, I see some more wrenches in here. Dave 1182, Stuart Bonneville, Virgin Sieber, Greg 2711, Frederick Lundholm, Donnie Seeger, I think I said Patrick Manny. Did I say that already? Patrick Russo. Hey guys, Grant McDonald, Tony Vento. Welcome in, Rob Gurley. Good to see all of you. Be sure and give Colin Hilton, Bill Leatherland, who else is in the chat? Jesse Kirk. Those three gentlemen are your sponsors today. Through their generosity, they have helped to pay for camera equipment and studio equipment that help make the videos of better quality. Jesse Kirk, you wouldn't be able to hear me if it wasn't for Jesse Kirk. This right here, that's Jesse's generosity right there. I know that doesn't look like much, but it's $600. Anyway, so if you see those guys, give them a shout out, make them your new best friend, because it's because of them that I'm able to make these videos more often and with better production quality. My sister has started editing for me, and she's learning the ropes. She did her very first video today. Actually, she's been working on it for like 9 days, but she's never done it before. So it's like a 4-minute video. I want you to appreciate how much work went into that. Now, I'm sure she'll be able to crank them up faster, but the quick tips video, it'll be a whole new series, and what she's going to do is look through all of these live vlogs and pick out the little pieces where I answer questions, and she's going to turn those into little quick tips videos. And she'll put a nice little intro and outro on them and add graphics or cutaways as necessary. And be sure and check that out and give her a thumbs up, or let her know that you appreciate her work, because she's working for free right now, ladies and gentlemen. She's got to ramp up. Bob says, what happened with the $500 donation? You know, I think yesterday, no, it wasn't yesterday, a couple days ago, a gentleman submitted $500 through the Super Chat. And I want to remind you, Super Chat is great if you want to donate under $20. But if you use the donate button at tech-vets.com, you'll see there's a donate button. I get the money immediately. PayPal takes 3%, but YouTube, when you don't donate here on the Super Chat, YouTube takes 30%. I get the money right away with PayPal. With YouTube, it's 30 to 60 days before I receive it. When you send it to PayPal, I can refund it if you made a mistake. PayPal, I can't, YouTube, I can't do anything. With PayPal, I get a receipt and a record of your transaction, that you've paid, what day you paid, how much you paid. With YouTube, I don't get any receipt, nothing, no record. In fact, even when I get paid, there's no amount broken down into the payment, the monthly payment, as to how much of that came from YouTube Red and how much of it came from regular YouTube views and how much of it was from Super Chat donations. I think what happened, JHP Hawaii, who was the donor, he's contributed before $2, $5. I think he meant $5. And the reason I say that is that's what he's given in the past. And he suddenly vanished out of the chat room after that big donation. And most people would hang around, you know, to soak up the praise. I suspect something went very, very wrong. And he's probably got to fight with YouTube now to get it corrected, because they don't offer refunds and I can't do anything. If he would have done that through PayPal, I could have assisted him. I could have hit the refund button instantly and really wouldn't cost anybody anything. So just bear that in mind. I also still have case badges available. So if you want an inspired by case badge, I'm sure you guys have seen them. They're available for donations of $20 or more, and they ship anywhere in the world. Anyway, until I hear from JHP Hawaii, I don't know if his contribution was intended or not. I get the feeling it was a mistake, just based on there's been no precedent behind that size of donation from that person and the way that they vanished suddenly afterwards. But I don't know until I talk to him, and if you guys see him, hopefully I'll notice and we'll find out what happened and if that was intentional or not. So we'll see what happens. Carey, my Gigabyte motherboard blew the other day. Do they have power surge protection on these motherboards? Power surge protection should be coming from your power supply, and of course from your surge protection that your power supply is plugged into, and then you can even get a whole house surge protector that goes into your fuse panel. If your motherboard is under warranty, I think Gigabyte has a 3-year motherboard warranty. You could be able to send that back for RMA. So today we've got an interesting build plan. There's a big parts list for today's build in the video description below the video. And it's got links to everything we're using, and it says a lot of storage. We've got 6 storage drives. So we've got 2 3-terabyte Western Digital mechanical drives. We've got 2 Samsung 970s, a Samsung 960, and a Samsung 850. I don't know if there's room to plug all these in, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Apparently, John over here has a lot of stuff. You guys don't need to be posting links for a refund. That all goes, that's between JHP Hawaii. If you see him, you can offer it to him. It doesn't do any of us any good. He might have already taken care of it. I don't have any way to check if the payment was refunded or not. Like I say, YouTube gives me no receipt of the transaction, no record of it. So I have no way to tell if it was applied or removed. I don't know. There's just no way for me to know. I have to assume, again, based on that behavior, most people wouldn't give a donation of that size and then just vanish. That's highly unlikely. And a lot of people who contribute generously do so, I wouldn't say regularly, but maybe a couple times a year. And it's not uncommon, when you see that same person give a generous donation, for a fact that that's that person. They're just generous that way. Another one I failed to mention, Peter Laycock. Peter Laycock has been the single largest contributor, not physically, I don't know how big he is, but he's financially provided, I'm speechless. Like, I don't even know what to say. Part of me wants to use the money he donated to buy a plane ticket to fly to England and thank him personally. So, just so you guys know what's going on behind the scenes. I haven't gotten back to Catherine yet. She provided a parts list for me. I haven't even looked at it, but I did get it, and I didn't even tell her. So I'm telling you now, Catherine, I got the parts list. I haven't looked at it. I will. Thank you for doing that. I've been running around like crazy every single day this week. And Shane wants to know if I'm drinking cane sugar, sweetened Coke, the Mexican Coke. No. Growing up in the 70s, it was all sugar, and now it's been replaced with high fructose corn syrup, HFCS. Yeah. And when I have the Mexican Coke, which still uses real cane sugar, it tastes like Pepsi. It tastes too sweet. I know I'm supposed to like the real sugar better, but the truth is I don't. The truth is I guess I've grown accustomed to the high fructose corn syrup. And I like the bitterness of Coke versus the sweetness of Pepsi. Shane and I had a fun time. I did the improv thing with Shane and his wife Lori and a gentleman named Billy, and we had a good time. And boy, there's certain instances where you just feel a groove in improv. Just things start flowing it just feels right. Everybody knows it. You just feel it. Great therapy, wonderful therapy. Love it. Good times. Yes, I have a Twitch channel. Isn't the Twitch link in my video notes? I know my Twitter link is in there. Well, it's just twitch.tv/CareyHolzman. Not a lot going on there. Maybe starting to use like Restream.io for broadcasting simultaneously across multiple platforms. I'm going to have my sister Linda look into that. Again, she's going to be doing a lot of the administrative behind the scenes stuff. So she's got her work cut out for her. I think on day one, I just put a stack of this much to do. All different things, from merchandising to sponsorships to editing, thumbnail creation, video titles. Yeah. So she's going to do that part-time and continue working her regular job. She kind of sees the end coming with the regular job, and she's getting ready to do something else. And I'm sort of in the same position right now with me losing that retainer client. I'm at a crossroads where I have to decide if I want to replace that retainer client or use that time to invest more into YouTube. The big fear, of course, is if YouTube decides they're shutting my channel down, what do I do? So that's why I've also tasked her with the job of finding another platform to offer subscription-based content, paid subscriber-based content. And I think it could be very inexpensive. So we're following that up. It's just one thing at a time. Danny Koyman has contributed 1.5 euros, 1.5 euros. There's moderator status for Danny. Is there another way to donate without signing up for PayPal? You don't have to sign up for PayPal. You can make a payment without signing up. But otherwise, the problem is really, if you mail me a check or something, I got to take it to the bank. It's kind of a pain in the butt. And PayPal's just quick and easy, and there's a record. You know, even a check, I won't have a record of it. I suppose there'll be a show of a deposit, a generic deposit in my checking account. If I knew the amount, I could go look for it. But PayPal is the easiest, most painless way if you want to show your support. It really is. And I do believe you can just make the payment without signing up. The time here in Arizona is 2:30 p.m. You can always type into Google, what time is it in Phoenix, or what time is it in Munich, or what time is it in London? You can do that at any point in time. You no longer have to ask anybody what the weather's like or what the time is. It's all been resolved when the internet came out back in when the internet became publicly available back in the early 90s. So it's been 25 years. Let's keep up. I cannot deposit checks through my phone. No, I'm with a credit union and they don't do that. So I'm going to get started with today's build. So as you see, we've got nuka-cola case. I don't know which build number this is. Remember, these are all numbered. There's 2,000 of them made. This one looks like it's 1170. Or is that a 6? This is what happens when you get old, ladies and gentlemen. All those numbers you used to read without a problem. Who am I kidding? You're all millennials and you look at your phones all day. Your eyes are worse than mine. Yeah. Case number 1170 belongs to John. And let's get this out. I am trying to find a place to put this where I won't get it mixed up with anybody else's. Okay, there's one. I guess I'll just set my reading glasses back there. Let's bring this around. Now, John is going to do the same thing Andrew's going to do, and that is he's going to put his own video card in. These gentlemen are, Andrew and John, even though they don't know each other, one lives in Pennsylvania, one lives in California, they're both technically capable people. I guess they've built their own machines before. They both wanted to share their build here on my channel, so of course, a big thanks to those folks. Rodney's been very patient as I've been trying to figure out how to get this system to Australia. I think DHL is going to be my answer, but what I have to do is I have to borrow my wife's Subaru Forester to get all the parts in the car, take it over to FedEx, pay FedEx to pack it for me, then put it back in the car, and the box is, huge. I can't fit it in the Mustang. Then I got to drive it over to a DHL office and have it weighed, have it measured, and get a price. And if the price is if it's around 600 or less, that's half the price. FedEx wants $1,200. So I'll get an idea when I mail Andrew's system, because it's going to be the same weight and box size. Actually, Rodney's will be a little bigger because this one's Rodney's, this one's Andrew. Rodney's will be a little bigger because he's got a keyboard and mouse that we're adding, as well as the external DVD drive. So we're adding a few more boxes on top that nobody else is getting. That's going to add weight. It may make the box a bit taller. We'll see how that goes. Lurchika says he's 62 and he's still not old. That's right. As long as you hang around people that are older than you and fatter, then you'll be young and thin forever. That's my rules. All right, let's get this glass off of here. And we'll move that back here as well. All right, you guys, I'm gonna have to watch my battery. I'm running, I didn't have my rechargeable batteries ready. So I have alkalines in here, and I don't know how much life they've got left. Now, let's go back here and let's take the styrofoam out. Ooh, this is a smaller box. Look at the difference in size. They both say Vault Boy Bobblehead. What's in this one? I just want to see. I gotta know. I gotta know. Something on his face. Okay. I was almost convinced that all the Nuka-Cola cases had the same little bobblehead figure, but apparently it is in fact a variety that I guess you got to buy a bunch of Nuka-Cola cases to collect them all, huh? Good luck with that mission. All right, let's start with power supply. I've got a EVGA 850 watt fully modular G3. This is 80 plus gold. That's the power efficiency rating, which is decent. Why do I put my knife away? It's OCD, baby. There we go. Instructions. Bag. Power cable. This will turn the power supply on manually, I guess, if you want to set the house on fire. Mounting screws. This looks like it is either, yeah, these are cable, Velcro cable ties. These are all of our modular cables. I am quickly running out of room. Wait. Oh, it says do not eat. Oh, not. I get it. Needs salt anyway. Oh, good. Another bag. What am I supposed to do with this? Am I supposed to put that bag in that bag and put that box inside of the box it shipped in? I don't understand. Sometimes there's a little plastic cover over the label here. See, it's not on the fan, it's on the cover. But this does not appear to have one. I've been really liking EVGA power supplies. I think the warranty is outstanding. The reliability has been fantastic thus far. I've had one bad one so far, and it was a cheap one. It was like the cheapest EVGA power supply you could buy. So you do get what you pay for. But in this case, I think the extended warranty on these makes them worth considering, apart from the overall value, or considering the overall value. Remember, we're not just shopping for price; we're shopping for value. I get so sick and tired of hearing from people who say, we all can't be rich like you. I don't know where you get the idea I'm rich. But this idea that you have to suffer along with some piece of crap computer because you can't afford anything better and that's the reality of the world you live in, I do not accept that. Absolutely not. I grew up with very little. The house in Arizona had no air conditioning. It had no heat in the wintertime. I slept in an electric blanket. I had a big box fan by the side of my bed to help keep me cool at night. I don't come from a family of money or means. And a lot of stuff in my life was fixed by people who didn't know what they were doing. My mother would have her brothers come over and put tile in, and they did it wrong. They'd fix holes in the wall, they did it wrong. They mounted a ceiling fan, they did it wrong. I had to, when I was old enough to realize all the wrong stuff that was done, and it was all done because we didn't have any money, and yet this really strange thing happens. It's almost like you get into a habit. My mother, when money wasn't a problem, like when all the kids were out of the house and she didn't have all that added expense, continued to shop at the dollar store and continued to look at swap meets and look for used things and bargains, and that was her sense of achievement. And as a result, she never really had anything nice. And it bothers me. I find the money if I have to save, if I have to work extra hours, not to buy the best. I'm not interested in buying the best. But I'm also not interested in buying the cheapest. Find that middle ground, and a strange new habit will happen. It's very difficult to explain, but what you'll find is you will have a faster, more reliable computer that never breaks down, or very rarely ever breaks down. That reliability allows you more productivity. It gives you something to count on, and you can invest your time into other things. And as you slowly, one by one, replace pieces, a nice kitchen faucet instead of a cheap one. Just buy it once, you'll have it for 20 years. A nice couch, a nice bed. How often do you buy furniture? You buy something nice, and you don't replace it for 10 or 20 years. It's an investment. Don't buy the cheapest thing and hurt your back and hurt your posture and have medical issues as a result because you didn't have the money to buy something more comfortable. You spend a third of your life asleep. How can you buy the cheapest bed? And again, you don't have to buy the most expensive one. I've lived both sides. I've lived the life of having nothing, and I've lived a life that I have created through hard work of being able to achieve something better than the basics, just to go one step up from the basics, go right down the middle. And if you do that too, I think you'll find the quality of your life is better, and you'll ultimately have more money. The first time I bought a brand new car, I was scared to death because I never had a car payment before. Something unusual happened that I had no idea was going to happen. There was a weight that felt like was taken off of my shoulders. Because when I got into my brand new car, it started every single time. I didn't wonder, is it going to start today? And another thing happened. All that money that I was spending on repairs, on keeping my old car running because I could not afford a new car, I was saving money with the new car. So instead of wondering how much is it going to cost me at the end of the month after I do all these repairs, plus the time and the dirt and the mess and the bloody knuckles and the tools you got to buy, and the tools break and you got to buy new tools, and you need a car to get the tools, right? This is before the internet. Instead, I had a fixed expense every month, and I had a warranty. It was the single best thing I ever did for my mental health. And then I realized, not only can I afford that car payment, I could probably afford a little bit more. So I traded the car in and got a nicer car. And then 2 years later, traded that car in and bought an even nicer car. And my payment went up, $75. And I felt a lot better. I didn't have the stress. Is it gonna start? What's it gonna cost to fix? I got better gas mileage. I didn't have to worry about passing emissions. I had power windows and power door locks and air conditioning and a great stereo and a comfortable drive. It's weird that we create these spirals. And so if you're in a spiral of having nothing and you just continue to spend and spend on things to just keep making ends meet, then you just continue that spiral until you stop it. Force yourself to sacrifice, tighten the belt, whatever you got to do to get just a step nicer. And it's just the right set, and you can start that spiral in another way. And you'll have things, they last longer, it's less stressful, you can rely on them, you can count on them. My mother couldn't buy a decent faucet, so every faucet in the house would drip. How much money do you think my mother spent on wasted water compared to the price of a faucet? So I just don't want to live like that. And at the same time, you know, i9 and Threadripper, that's overkill for most people. You don't need to buy that. You don't need the RGB lights. You know, if we're talking about really watching our money, get yourself a nice, decent case, a decent power supply with a decent motherboard, a decent processor. Get yourself 16 gigs of RAM, put an SSD in it, find the money, and be done with it for about 8 years. It'll last you about 8 years. That's my advice. It comes from my personal experience. I wouldn't have it any other way. When people accept it, when people go, well, it must be nice to make money, I don't make any money. Well, that's your choice. You know, apart from people that have physical disabilities or mental disabilities, and I mean official ones where you're getting a disability check. Otherwise, if you got otherwise it is a mental disability that you think you can't make a modicum of money. It's not a lot. It really isn't. Or you're not willing to sacrifice, or you're not willing to put the effort in, then you'll never appreciate its value anyway. Like if somebody just handed it to you, you wouldn't appreciate it. You think you would, but you don't. You have to earn it. And when you earn it, you'll take care of it. So that's what I've learned. That's my life, that's the word I want to use. My life experience, that's what it's taught me firsthand. And it's really great when I hear from customers. I talked to the judge, remember the judge? And I said, are you ready for a new computer? He goes, no, you built this too well. It's running as great as the day I got it. You really need to build in some planned obsolescence in these things, because you do good work, but I don't need another one. I said, well, that's all right. When you're ready to upgrade, I'll be here. I love that. And remember what I said when I put the free computer repair ad in Craigslist? Everybody that was contacting me had these old crappy computers sitting in a closet. Why? It's always the old crappy computers that will cost you the most amount of money and stress. What's that worth to you? Have I gone on about that long enough? Should I talk about it for another 20 minutes? Do I have a brand of socks you recommend? Yes. Well, understand, and I've talked about this in the past, I have something called sensory processing disorder. So how clothes feel to me is critical. You'll see me wear the same shirts, you know, and it's because of this. They say it's a disorder. I don't know that it's a disorder, but it's not something most people deal with. But when the brands I like, when the stores stop carrying them, I can't find them online. When it comes to any type of clothing, what do? I have to go on Amazon and I just start buying little by little until I find something that works. And even though this has nothing to do with computers, I do feel for people that have this same sort of issue that I have. So I'm happy to share the content with them. And I apologize if you're not interested, but we'll be back on track here in a second. Just hang in there. What are the socks I buy? Here they are. I found a really nice pair of socks that were really, really expensive. And I thought, I'm not going to pay $20 for a pair of socks. That's ridiculous. So instead, I found these. And these are what I'm wearing now. I wear these every day. There's a link in the chat room. And those are the socks I buy. I was brought up wearing crew socks. I don't like the ankle socks all the kids wear. It's weird to me. One day I might have to buy them. They may not make crew socks much longer, but yeah. I'm going to just put the power supply in here for now, but we'll be taking it back out to hook the cabling, power cables up. But for right now, I'll just kind of put this in loosely. And then we have our box of mounting hardware right under here. Franklin Adams says, I am disabled, but I choose not to let that stop me from saving for a new computer. You know, regardless of any disabilities, you really can do whatever you set out to do. It just seems like a lot of people don't want to put the effort in, and you know what you have is a result of the amount of effort you put into it. So if you didn't put a lot of effort in, you don't have a lot to show. I'm sorry, that's life, that's how it works. And if you're born into money, if you're a Kardashian, I feel bad for you because you really don't know what it's like. I mean, they have different problems, the Kardashians being judged by people, but they're taking that to the bank, so I don't feel bad for them that way. I just feel bad that they're just very disconnected from the struggles of the regular person that lives paycheck to paycheck, and you know, they're very disconnected from that. They're very much all about their looks, and that's priority number one. And in TV, you know, that's kind of the way society is at this point. Just very unevolved people. Anyway, let me go on about being old. Christoph Ash has contributed €5. He says, I'm using a Pentium 4, 12 years old, as a kiosk system. It works great. Once it breaks, I will replace it. Yeah, if it's a kiosk, that's fine. Kiosks don't have to have liquid cooling and overclocking, right? People are saying they're not seeing the link for the socks. Why not? Is it going to let me post it? Let's see. You guys see it now? Christoph, thanks for your contribution. I really do appreciate that. Steve Larkin says, Carey, I'm watching you on my new build inspired by you and Catherine. Very cool. Congrats, Steve. Feels good to build a computer, doesn't it? BDT Trans makes a good point. He says, I think a lot of us middle classers are just as disconnected from the poverty in Africa in the same way. Well, listen, that's a whole different culture and a whole different set of lifestyle expectations in that environment. There's no reason to live that way in the United States. It's a choice. Whether you believe it or not, it's a choice to live that way when you live in the United States. I can't speak for other places because I've never lived anywhere else. Christoph has contributed another €5. He says, I'll always fight for my goals. Disabilities have nothing to do with that one. It's just an excuse. Amen, Christoph. All you need to do is look at Austin Davert. If there was ever anybody to be inspired by such intelligence and such a kind, giving, caring, considerate, compassionate, empathic, and intelligent individual who happens to have a disability. See how that was just kind of tacked on the end as sort of a, it didn't start with that. It doesn't define, our disabilities don't define who we are or what we can do. We do that here. All right, guys, I've been compared to Bob Ross, the painter. So coming up for a Halloween show, I have my Bob Ross costume. And we'll do a build if Bob Ross did a build. Okay, so you asked for it. Right there it is. It's a one-size-fits-all. I think it's just a wig, a beard, a paintbrush, and a palette. I think that's all it is. What do you think? Does that fit? Is that going to fit my channel? Evan says, I'm definitely tuning in for that. All right, that's awesome. So that'll be coming up. All right, here's a test for the chat room. I had a little conversation with my nephew. I was explaining to him that what he was repeating was a famous movie quote, and he insists it's just an expression. I said, it's not an expression. It's a quote from a movie that's become an expression. And let's see if you agree or disagree. But if I say to you, so I got that going for me, what movie comes to mind? The expression that we're talking about is, so I got that going for me. Come on, what's the name of the movie? And there it is. Wayne Elliott says Bill Murray. That's right. That's the name of the actor. What's the name of the movie? Baron Black's got it first. Caddyshack. Yes. So I was trying to explain to my nephew, when you hear somebody say, so I got that going for me, they're referring to a quote from Bill Murray in the movie Caddyshack. He's, no, they're not. It's just an expression. I go, no, it's an expression nobody uses unless they've seen Caddyshack. No, I don't believe you. So I'll have to just forward him this part of the video. He's 15. What does he know? Yes. See, everybody's agreeing. Everybody agrees. So there's your reference. It's not as common as some other movie expressions that are, more well known. But that is one, when you hear it, if you want to be part of the culture and get what they're referring to. I've never met anybody who said that other than my nephew, who didn't mean anything by referencing Caddyshack. Basically, Bill Murray's talking about how miserable his life is, and he says that the Pope, I think it was the Pope, told him, on your deathbed, you'll receive total consciousness. So I got that going for me. So despite all this bad stuff that's happening, I got that. Or it was a Dalai Lama, or it was something like that. Charles says the socks look great for the winter, but not the summer. You know what? The socks breathe really well. I wear shoes from the moment I get up all day until I'm ready for bed. So the thicker the sock is, the more comfortable the shoe fits, honestly. Instead of buying a better sole for the shoe, just buy a thicker sock. I don't have any problem with the heat in Arizona, although I'm mostly indoors. But when I walk around, I never think, wow, my foot is hot. But anyway, that's the sock I like. If you like it, good. If you don't, that's fine too. Whatever. I'm not selling socks here, folks. Not yet. When my sister gets a hold of the merchandising, we just might. Who knows what it's going to come down to. All right. Coke is gone. Time to get to work. This is why I can't do these live streams. I end up hanging out with you guys and not getting anything done. And unfortunately, YouTube pays the same. But the customers aren't real thrilled. So here's all my storage drives. Well, not mine. These are John's storage drives and RAM. So I'll move this out of the way so I have some room to work. Lots and lots of RAM. We got a 32 gig kit of RGB TridentZ, 3200 speed. I think it's 32 gigs. I think it's 4 sticks of 6, 4 sticks of 8, I think. Yep, it is 4 sticks of 8. I can see it now. All right. So I got that going for me. So John is the one who had the NZXT motherboard, and he witnessed the problem we had with Andrew's NZXT motherboard and said, oh, I don't want it anymore. Here's an RMA, please send it back. And the motherboard cover. So those 2 items went back today. They got shipped out back to, I guess, I think he bought them directly from NZXT, and they're going to give him a full refund because they never were opened or used. Verujan Kalustin has contributed $1. Thank you for your contribution. Make you a moderator. Colin says he's watching on his MacBook Pro. Oh, traitor. Traitor. What's the most RAM you've installed in the motherboard? 128. I think the maximum allowed in a socket X99 or X99 chipset. You can only go 64 gigs, I think, in a Ryzen or socket 11.5X Intel chip. Alan Parker's contributed $5. Those are awesome cases. I'd like to see an R2-D2 style case similar to those. R2-D2 is big, you know. R2-D2 would make a better trash can or a drink cooler than he would make a computer. No, Shane, this is not improv. No. All right. So he saw me build Rodney's computer using this motherboard. And he said, you know what? That board really seems to fit well. It's priced cheaper. It's got current BIOS updates. It's not abandoned like apparently NZXT has abandoned that board with regards to BIOS updates. It's only got 1 BIOS. That's really weird. But NZXT support was excellent. Apparently, when John asked them for an RMA to return the products, they didn't give him a hard time about that. So, you know, credit where credit's due. Ben DeCure's contributed $4.99. Hey, Carey, hope you're doing well, watching the stream and drinking a Diet Coke. So I got that going for me. Very nice, Ben, very nice. Apple has an R2-D2 case? Yeah, but it costs a lot of money. That's our board. Look at that bad boy. Oh, I should probably stand where you can see it, huh? Even though that says Intel Optane, it's just a, oh, it does have Optane built in. What? What? I can see it. You see the M.2 in there. What? When did they start doing that? This one didn't come with that. I would have noticed. Is this a different version? I mean, the box looks the same. Oh, it's got the little logo on it right here that this box doesn't have. It says Intel Optane. Let's talk about Intel Optane. Is it worth it? Generally speaking, Intel Optane is a poor man's SSD. It is not recommended. You'd be much better off investing in an SSD. But if you can't afford an SSD, then you can use Intel Optane as a cache between your hard disk drive and the motherboard in the communications in order to give you the appearance or the effect of everything moving quicker through the cache. If you have a choice of using Intel Optane or using SSD, always pick SSD. Now, there may come a point where Optane matures and evolves to become a replacement for an SSD or becomes an SSD of its own, but much faster, but we're not there yet. And it may never reach that, depending on how Intel's research and development and financing goes, if they find it to be a profitable endeavor or if they give up. Generally speaking, you will not see a performance increase pairing an SSD with Intel Optane. It's just not worth it. So, does anybody want to, I want to phrase this carefully. Does anybody disagree with that statement? Does anybody think Intel Optane offers something that I failed to mention that would be worth correcting my statement? See, now I'm inviting being challenged. And the reason for that is I'm basing this information on what I've read. I've never so much as touched an Intel Optane chip before, because what I've read from trusted sources, not just on Reddit or something, from what I read from professional tech journalists is basically what I just conveyed to you in my own paraphrasing. Platter Jockey says, thanks to Carey, I just installed my first SSD. It's an ADATA 650. I used a 4-year-old version of a Cronus WD edition, cloned my boot drive to it, and it works great. Awesome. You guys don't have to say no. I just want to know. Don't say no. You're filling the chat with no's. That's not good. But if there's something about Intel Optane that I have missed or have overlooked or I don't know, this would be your chance to educate me, because I think that Intel Optane chip is going to come out. Because clearly, John wasn't expecting it, or he wouldn't have provided me with 3 SSDs. I am responding to somebody. Bear with, bear with. Live on YouTube right now. How much you want to bet they're going to text me back and say, okay, like that's the worst thing you can do. Don't text me back. Okay. I got some plastic on here that's got to come off. Sometimes there's plastic on these, but there doesn't seem to be any. There's plastic right here. Tinsel G has contributed $5 Canadian. He says, I bought my NZXT BLD today. Ooh, hiccups. And actually decided not to go with their N7 board and stuck with an MSI Z370, which was slightly cheaper. Yeah. I think that's the right choice. I mean, it just depends how important the aesthetic is to you. You know, if NZXT motherboard was priced around $200, and then when you add the cover, it's another $50, that'd be okay. But the board's $275. And, you know, for $275, I mean, that board right here with the Intel chip this is $220 all day long. And it's a much better board. It's got a lot more features to it. More M.2 slots, 2 LAN jacks. There's 2 video outs here if you want to use built-in video. Better audio. There's an optical out. I don't think the NZXT has. Yeah, the NZXT does not have an optical out. Not that I've ever used it in my life, but to some people that's important. There's red USB port, which is for charging devices, a fast charge. And I don't know what NZXT's warranty is, but these motherboards, I believe, are 3-year warranties from GIGABYTE. Make sure Tinsel is a moderator. There you go, Tinsel. You can mod for me as well. By the way, moderators don't have to do anything. They're not obligated to enforce any rules or punish any people. When I make you a moderator, it's me recognizing for my own good that you're a supporter of the channel. And you can be a supporter because I see you regularly and I see you treating other people with consideration and kindness and support, or that you've contributed financially to the channel. And so there's so many people that watch. How do I differentiate the regulars or the supportive people from people that are just not as supportive? And I do that by adding the wrench. And so as a result, you don't have to do anything. It's really for my purposes. And I would rather you guys, as moderators, walked softly. Don't be quick to punish people. Don't be quick to ban people, because I will remove you from moderator if you're costing me viewers. If you're upsetting my other viewers because you're too heavy-handed, I'd rather you did nothing. So then you can maintain the wrench status indefinitely if you do nothing. But if you're heavy-handed, I'm going to have a problem with that, because you're supposed to help me, you're not supposed to hurt me. So if we see somebody being abusive in the chat, like just vulgar and very clearly causing trouble, by all means, you're never going to get punished for that. But if somebody's talking off topic, if somebody's speaking in another language, just ignore that. Don't punish them for it. You can talk to them, don't punish them for it, okay? What are you guys showing me? Peter Rader says, tomorrow I will send you a picture of my PC with the, let's make Peter a moderator. So you don't have to donate to be a moderator. You just have to be kind and supportive. Is anybody keen to see Carey shooting stuff in the desert again? You know, we live in a climate here in the United States with so many anti-gun people. It's almost right down the center. You could ask 4 people if they like guns, and 2 will say yes and 2 will say no. You could ask 1,000 people, 500 will say yes, 500 will say no. That kind of divisiveness when you make a video about it could cause trouble with people complaining to YouTube and having some side effects. And all the places where I used to go out to the desert to shoot have all been shut down. They said it was a fire hazard. Now that it's rained, I'm kind of curious. I mean, we've had a lot of rain. It's clearly not a fire hazard anymore, but those signs they put up looked awfully permanent. So I haven't been back. It's been too hot to go out shooting in the summertime, and so we'll see what happens with that. I just don't know yet. All of us Brits should be moderators, as we are all ladies or gentlemen with excellent manners. I agree, Philip. There you go. And your name's Moss. Come on, Moss. Think of the IT crowd. Maurice Moss. Maurice Moss. Ah, you gotta love a little Richard Ayoade. Is that his name? I'm going to put the RAM in first. Steve M says, as a moderator, I like to do as little as possible. Yeah, you got it. Joel Titmus says, I got my case badge and thanks for the wonderful content. Awesome, Joel. Good to see you in the chat. Give you moderator status as well. My goal is to have 90% of my viewers be moderators. So that way I know everybody's kind and supportive, and again, that's the community I want to see built, and I want to see lots and lots and lots, like thousands. We have about 600 people watching. That's about average for me. But I'm hoping that 3-digit number becomes a 4-digit number, and I hope that becomes the new normal on live feeds. All things in due time. There's our RAM. Ambler Productions says, I'm a new subscriber. Well, welcome in. Welcome in. Everybody who's kind and supportive is welcome. All right. So only one side of these memory sockets opens. The other side does not, because it would interfere potentially with the graphics card install. And it really doesn't matter which sockets we start with, because we only have 4 sockets and we only have 4. Oh, the side does open. I'm a liar. So yeah, we're gonna use all 4 memory sockets. So I'm gonna start at the back so you can see me install each one as I move forward. I hate that when I watch build videos and the guy brings the camera down, you get a nice close-up shot of the first one going in, and then you can't see anything on the other side. Not very well thought out. And unfortunately, I still don't have a camera operator yet, so you're gonna have to watch this from a little bit of a distance. We just seat that down into the track. We could actually put this in pairs if we want to, just skip a track. You don't have to, all the memory's the same. But if it makes you feel better, that's the advantage to buying a kit. It's all been tested to work together, so you don't have to worry about installing a specific module into a specific socket. Oh, I lost my Go Faster sticker. Apparently, if you put these on your case, it'll go faster. Thank goodness they gave us 2. We go twice as fast. Jeffrey Lebowski has contributed $5. Eli, the computer guy, mentioned your channel on October 23rd. Oh, really? Was it good or bad? Do I want to know? All right, now I'm curious. Let me check out what Eli said. Where's that link? Where did it go? It was here a minute ago. October 20, oh, there was not a link. It's just, Eli the computer, I mentioned your channel on October 23rd, 2018. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to search for it. October, nothing's dated. Oh, I see, the iPhone failure, 20 minutes in. I gotta mute my microphone so I don't have a copyright violation. Let me watch it. Hold on a minute, guys. Okay, well, thanks for bringing that to my attention. I see what he's doing there. It's all good. It's all good. I was laughing because he butchered the name really bad. He spelled my name so wrong, and he couldn't find, and he didn't sort any of my videos by view, so he's looking at videos that are just a few days old, and he's seeing these view numbers, which he says are very low. But I'm very proud of the view numbers, considering, and I thought he would sort the videos by view number, but he looked at the total number of views, and he saw videos that were just a few days old, and he wasn't looking at the date of the videos. He was only looking at the amount of views. But regardless of that, yeah, his comments were pretty much dead on. I think he and I would get along very well. We have very similar attitudes, so maybe someday we can collaborate on something. It's nice to be acknowledged, that's all. I'm happy that he said my name and I exist. Sometimes I wonder. I think I need another Coke in here. Let's see. Got one bottle left. Do I want a bottle? No, I think I'll get a glass with ice. It's really just about acknowledgement. You know, it's just nice to get a shout out from another creator, especially one that somebody I consider my peer. You know, I think it's safe to say I look up to him for different reasons. I don't look up to him with regards to, I don't know his technical ability, I really don't know it. But I like his honesty, and I like his brash, his, what's the word I'm looking for? His candor. I like that. So, nowadays he's a disgruntled IT guy. Most IT guys are disgruntled. It really is a thankless job. Hold on, there's gonna be some noise here. That's the ice maker. A little too much ice. Get rid of some of that. It's an hour and 20 minutes in, and all he's done is put RAM and a power supply in. I could have had it built by now. Why am I talking to myself? What Eli said that I thought was funny is, I don't understand why anybody would ever want to make a build video, and I don't know why anybody would ever want to watch a build video. I've said the same. Like, I understand the first time you want to watch one if you've never built a computer before, but why do you guys continue to like watching me build computers? It's weird, but I'm not questioning it. Unlike Eli, who says, I'm just not going to do it because I don't like it. I do like building. I just find it weird that you guys like to watch it so much, but I'm not going to fight with it. I mean, hey, I got to build them anyway. And if you like watching it, that's good for both of us. But why? I don't know why. Dennis says, I used to like Eli, but now he's only complaining about how terrible YouTube is and how much he hates the trolls. Let me tell you something. Being the person who's also done that, I've also done that. It's therapy. Let the man have his therapy. If he's in a place where he can say these things and be honest and direct, you don't have to watch it. He's no longer, you know, you get the sense that he tried and tried and tried to please people, and he just gave up because people are just, it's not possible to please people. And the sense I get is he's like, to heck with it, I'm not going to try anymore. I'm just going to do what I want to do. Because at the end of the day, I think he feels better. So if you don't like it, don't watch it. But I'm all aboard with that. I totally get it. And once he gets it out of his system, sooner or later, he'll come back around. But yeah, there's a lot of toxins that build up, and you got to get them out. I don't think I've ever heard a big, you know, a popular YouTuber ever mention my name before. I don't think Barnacles has ever done it. Jay's 2 Cents has never done it. Linus Tech Tips has never done it. Gamers Nexus has never done it. Paul, Bitwit, they've never done it. So, thank you, Eli. Thanks for acknowledging I exist. You're the first one. Okay, let's get that CPU installed. CPU continues to go up in price. This is the Intel 8086K, which I have around here somewhere. Here it is. I'm gonna walk around in circles until I find it. Intel's making a limited number of these. This is the first Intel consumer chip to hit 5 gigahertz on one core, but it still hits it. Does not come with a heatsink. And I was buying these for right around, for a long time, they were $425. Sometimes you get them on sale for $399. Today, $475. So you just don't know with computer parts. Sometimes they go up, sometimes they go down. Jazz Sinclair says, I just left your stream from the other day to see this live stream. You're the hardest working man in showbiz. This ain't showbiz. This is real. There's one thing you got to learn about showbiz. It's all fake. All of it. Nothing is what it seems. So that is my my goal is to conquer that. To stand in the face of polished, practiced, rehearsed, scripted videos and show you what it's like to work for a living. And turn the camera on. But what I thought was funny is Eli said that I must have brass balls to put myself out there with such few views. No, that's not why I have brass balls, Eli. The reason I have brass balls is because I let people watch me work. I don't know many people that would let a camera film them during their working day and see the quality of their work, see how fast or slow they work, and see the mistakes they make. I show my mistakes, and it's embarrassing, but yes, even professionals make mistakes. The difference, as I said before, between a professional and a hobbyist isn't about who makes mistakes. It's what you do and how you handle a mistake, how you move forward from that and make it right. And some mistakes I don't even realize I have made until the chat room says, hey, you know, like the other day, I forgot to take that little piece of tape off. I can't believe it. I can't believe I did that. But I did it. And you know what? It's okay. It's nothing that has to be edited out and make sure nobody ever sees that. Oh my God, he made a mistake. Making mistakes is something to be proud of. It means you've learned something. God forbid you learn something. Obviously, if I'm making nothing but mistakes, I probably should find a new career. But, you know, I am a human being and I get distracted and I lose focus. And especially when I'm trying to maintain a YouTube channel where I'm talking back and forth, answering questions, and I go back and I get distracted. Sometimes you guys get me a little excited. You all can't wait for the results, the end results, and I rush through it like an idiot. And then I have to fix it. But that's life. That's the way. If you think it's going to be any different for you, you're going to have good days and bad days. So what? But that would be an expression where telling me I had balls of brass, that would make more sense. Because a lot of people don't have. They just let their pride and ego get in the way. Not me. I don't let your pride or ego get in my way. All right, let me just clear some of this off of here. Vault Boy. Okay, we've got our 2 drives, which is pretty good since we only have a place in the case for 2 drives. We could put those in right now. These are 2 3 terabyte Western Digital greens. Obviously, he intends those for storage. Let's get our front port umbilicals out through here. You're not an idiot. Well, look, I guess what I'm trying to tell you is nobody's harder on me than myself. There's nothing that you can say to me that's as mean as what I say to myself when I make mistakes. And sometimes it's just better that way with the trolls. If I call myself an idiot, I've beaten them to it and hopefully taken the wind out of their sails. But we're doing really good today. I'm not really seeing any trolls today. So if they're out there, the mods are doing a great job of keeping me from being distracted by it. Orly Doss has contributed $5. Really enjoy the content and donating to the cause. Very nice, thank you. Now, I wish these drives had toolless installations, but we do have to screw them in. So in the bag here that came with the case, we'll have, these look like power supply screws. Here we go. These are short coarse-threaded screws. They're labeled as 632. And those are the ones you're going to use for mounting the hard drives and the motherboard. That's what those screws are used for. It could be fun, though, to just have a little chat with Eli just about YouTube, about maybe some politics, see where he is, see if he's aligned like I am. Not that it matters. But, you know, birds of a feather like to flock together. And I suspect that I will be able to understand, even if I don't agree, I'll be able to understand his perspective, whatever it happens to be. It could be a very enjoyable conversation. So maybe we'll make that happen. Could be fun. Okay, that's one. Let's get the other one out. This connector's kind of in the way of this bottom hard drive tray. I've never pulled the hard drive tray from the bottom out on these other NZXT builds, so I've never encountered this problem before. I guess I'm going to have to disconnect it. It's not very well thought out. NZXT's like, well, we gave you the disconnection option, didn't we? Well, how about if we didn't need it? How about that? So I got that going for me. It's not lining up. I wish I could get that song Better Now by Post Malone out of my head. That cable's really in a bad place. Yeah, I think this Optane chip has got to come out. We know want. Define Optane. Poor man's SSD. But SSDs aren't as expensive as they used to be. Agreed. Looks just like an M.2 drive, doesn't it? Doesn't perform like one. I was trying to see if it'll focus in on the text. Focus. Man, why you gotta be difficult? $32 gigs. 32 gigs. What am I supposed to do with that? My Google Chrome browser crash. Browser cache. I think I had it right the first time. Bigger than that. Samsung 970 EVO, 1 terabyte. These are $400 a piece. Yeah, it's not my money. I'm not buying them. Don't think I'm the rich one. Remember, people find money for cigarettes, they find money for alcohol. How long do those things last? And what damage are you causing to your body? This, how long will this last? You know? Funny how that justification machine in my head works. I'm gonna buy that Samsung 970 EVO NVMe 1 terabyte drive because you know what? I don't smoke and I would have easily spent that on cigarettes in a year. There, I just justified it. All right, let's put the first 970 EVO in. there's that one. And under here is the documentation, which we'll take out and put with the rest of the docs. And we'll slide this puppy in here. And it's nice that, you know, it's got this heat sink. It's going to say Optane on it, but that's all right. Nobody will know. It's got a little thermal pad on the bottom. Now you got to be careful when you slide this in, although this design seems better than what I worked with on Threadripper. Putting the tab into the slot, lower this down, and we'll lock that into position. Now, I don't want to install the other two drives yet, because it can get confusing to figure out which one am I putting Windows on, especially when all three of these drives are all 1 terabyte. I mean, this is just a regular M.2 SATA, 1 terabyte, and then we have another 1 terabyte NVMe. I think he wants the NVMe drives in RAID 0, I think. I gotta talk to John about that. In the meantime, what I can do, let me just pick this trash up, because what I can do is I can take the Optane chip and put it here in the box that the Samsung drive came in, and we'll just keep that together for the customer. He might want to use it in another rig, another build. He might want to hang it on the wall. I don't know, he might want to sell it, who knows. So for a cooler, we're going to use liquid cooling, and we're going to replace the stock fans with Noctua fans on the radiator. I guess I can put the Samsung drive back here because we have the 850 Evo. We could do that now. Why not? Just documentation. I think it should go right there. Put that with the connectors facing down. So that's going to go back in just like that. It'll be hidden out of view, and that keeps the cable management looking better. That's why I like to put it in the back. We have to use a different type of screw. We have to use these screws right here that are labeled as M3 5 flat. So they got a flat head on them. And they need to have that flat head so the screw head won't stick out too far to have that avoid sitting flush against the back of the motherboard tray. So we need, let's see, we need 4 of those. Why am I not using my electric screwdriver today? I don't know why. Just in a mood. No reason. Just because. Now we should be able to put that right back there and slide it down. That's good. Put the thumb screw back in. We can start that by hand. Always easier to start it by hand. And then tighten it down. do you think? Looks pretty good, right? Sure it does. I'm going to take these out. These are optional 3.5-inch drive bays. Stargazer, what am I saying? Stranger in Night has contributed 5 New Zealand dollars. Thank you, Stranger in Night. Moderator status for you. Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and put the motherboard into the case now. Quickly running out of counter space here. And I need that bag of screws that I use to secure the hard drives. That will be used for the motherboard as well. They're very similar. These 2 screws, every case comes with these 2 screws that are very similar. They're, sorry, I have to bring up my live feed here. They are about the same size and shape, but the threads are entirely different. So as you can see, we've got the 6x32 and the M.2 flat. So the flats are used for things like SSDs, and the 632s, those are used for hard drives and motherboard mounting. So looking at the mounting holes, this looks pretty standard. 1, 2, 3 across the middle, 1, 2, 3 across the bottom, 1, 2, 3 across the top. And looking in the case, the standoffs are already installed. 1, 2, 3 across the bottom, 1, 2, 3 in the middle, 1, 2, 3 on top. The middle one has a little post that holds the board in position. So we won't need 9 screws, we need 8 screws. I'm gonna lay this case down. It's heavy, just wait till I get parts in there. Probably need to install the I/O shield, huh? Where can I put this? I'll set it over here. Lots and lots of Go Faster stickers. Big fat documentation. A DVD with drivers, which obviously we don't have a DVD drive. Another Go Faster sticker. This thing's gonna go fast once you get all the stickers on there. Just based on the stickers alone, I can tell. We've got a bridge for hooking up 2 video cards together. We've got the G connector, which we should not need. There's the I/O shield. It's a neat gunmetal color. I really like this color. It's a nice combination of black and silver. It's got a little breathing vent right there. Look at that. Fancy, fancy. So let me go ahead and put the I/O shield in. Something I always watch beginners struggle with, and I have to bite my lip and just let them work it out. That's in. Now I can get the motherboard. Always hold parts by the edges. And I want to put this in. I'm going to grab it just like that. We're going to put the front in on an angle. Line up the I/O ports with the holes in the I/O shield. Don't put any pressure on the RAM. It's sitting in a socket. I don't want you picking it up by that or putting any pressure on the RAM. Keep your fingers away from that. You can pick up the motherboard by any heat shields or by the edges. Try to avoid touching the bottom of the board. Try to avoid touching anything metal. Wow, that just sat perfectly in there. I don't know how well you can see that, but it just plopped right into place without any frustration or negotiation. It just sat in there like a glove. It fits like a glove. Okay, these are, where's my motherboard screws? I just had them. Here we go. I need 8 screws. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Screwdriver should be on 3. I don't want to twist the heads off of these screws and crush the motherboard. And I apologize, you're not going to be able to see this, but it'll just be a second. And I'll have it back up on its feet in no time. Well, something's not aligned. Let's try over here. It is common that you have to grab the board, sometimes push it towards the back of the case to get the holes to align. And that's why you don't want to tighten any of the screws down. We just want to get them started so we can continue to wiggle the board as necessary to get the rest of the screws aligned. I'm nervous because it went in so easy. I'm actually putting these in too tightly. The driver is eager. Oh, that's not good. Well, it seems to have resolved itself. It was taking the standoff. That's what that sound was. The standoff was unscrewing with the screw. But when I tightened it back down, it all just aligned right. Very good. I'm tightening these down because they just want to. 3 more. Last one. Perfect. Oh yeah, it's gaining some weight. I suppose I could hook these little cables back up now. I'm done with them. There we go. There we go. Dun, 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 dun. Huh? Look at that. I/O. I can put all of this stuff in the box. It's a good place for it. Screws. Power cable, documentation, Vault Boy, I feel like I'm missing one here. I'm just gonna go in there. I know there was 4 screws. I see 3. Where'd the other one go? Where did it go? Oh, these can go in there too. And these go faster stickers, they can go in there. Let's get these zip ties out of the way. I'm missing a screw. It's the thumb screw that holds the glass on. It's around here somewhere. I know I didn't eat it. Pretty sure. Well, I'm sure it'll turn up. It'll turn up in something. Samuel Ramos has contributed $20. Here's a little something to show my appreciation for the knowledge you share. I've learned so much. Thank you, Carey. Keep up the good work. Very kind of you, Samuel. There's a moderator status for you, my friend. Thank you for your generosity. Guess I can work on this liquid cooler now, huh? Let's put this over here for now. And we're gonna take the face off. I'm gonna tear your face off. Yeah. This makes me nervous. You're making me nervous. So he wants to use the H115i Pro from CORSAIR. How does this box open? Documentation. We're not using those fans. Mounting hardware. And finally, we have the radiator. Oh, that's a kind of a low profile pump. Look at that. Look how low that sits. Interesting. Nothing else in the box. Just put that there. That's where that goes. $10 has come in from James Zender. Just to let you know, I'm still watching every day. Very nice. James is already a moderator. Thank you for your contributions. Yeah, Coke should be paying me at least in free Coke, right? maybe some insulin. I can laugh at that because I'm not diabetic yet. Is there a plastic cover on there? There's always a plastic cover on the company's logo. Anything can get scratched but that. God forbid. There we go. The torque is set too low to loosen those screws out. It's hitting torque setting. Factory put those thumb screws in pretty tight. There it goes. Set that back to 3 before I forget. Love this. Love the way you can do this on an NZXT case. Paying attention, Corsair? Probably not. I feel like Corsair's losing their way. It's not what they used to be. All right, let's see if their cooler's better or worse. It's gonna have to go in this way. Do I want to mount it on top or beneath? I think I want to put it on top. Wait a minute. It's going to go in like this. Yeah, it's going to go in like that. And we could center it. Push it more to the left. And then the fans. Do we want to put the fans under or over? Under or over? Take a look at that real quick. Let's see what that's going to look like. Under. So I'm going to put the fans under here. And when we secure the fans on, it'll secure the radiator at the same time. John wants to use the Noctua NF-A14 fans. Instead of the fans that come with the cooler. The coolers, these liquid coolers always come with just the cheapest fans, which is bizarre. You'd think the company would really want you to see a value in their product and not have to replace something brand new out of the box, but that's what they all do. Well, they're black, so it's nice to know Noctua makes normal fans. You don't have to buy them brown. And apparently they've given us a lot of different colors, and I don't know why. 2, 4, 6. I would need 8 of these. Why do I have 6, and why are they all different colors? It's very strange. What's in here? Oh, there's the rest of them. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. These are optional. And you may choose to put one color on one side and one color on the other side, I guess. If we want to stick with the black, we know that this side of the fan is what's blowing air out, so that's going to go against the radiator. We're going to bring air from inside of the case and blow it out through the top. So this is the side that potentially can be seen, so we'll put black here to make that match. These reduce vibration, so it's a good idea to use them. I think it's kind of silly that they give you these different colors. They should be pre-installed in black, and they should sell different colors optionally. Let people pay for them. This is just going to go in a landfill, right? It's just you can't use all of them. So, I mean, I guess if you had other fans that these could fit on, but they're not going to have the mounting holes like these fans have for these dampeners. I don't really understand what the logic is. It just seems very wasteful, adding to the expense of what this fan costs, and adding to the amount of labor you have to do since these are not pre-installed. Really starting to have a hard time justifying Noctua now. I feel like they might have been groundbreaking 20 years ago or 10 years ago, but they're just not anymore. They seem to be staying the course, and they're letting others pass them by with cheaper prices and better or equivalent products. And it's a shame to see them moving in that direction. Well, failing to move is what it is. They're just staying in the same place. And they're getting passed. They need to step it up. Here we can do the other side as well. We can pick a color, I don't know. Red is a little extreme. Maybe we'll just go with blue. Well, the case is red, isn't it? We'll do red. Hold on a minute. Did this backwards. This is the part that faces the radiator. Oh, you know what? Yeah, we'll have red on the outside. That's cool. Because the case is red. It'll work. I intended for the black to be on the outside, but you know what? Red on the outside. See how the fan has little holes? And there's little posts that stick up, little rubber posts. You put those in there. And then the lip just goes over the edge like so. And then we're left with 4, 8, 12, 16. And these little rubber dampeners that you can't use. So very wasteful. And you're paying for them. If you're buying these fans, you're paying for product you're going to throw away. Isn't it enough I buy garbage bags, and the only reason I buy those is to throw them away? That's a Carey quote right there. The only reason I buy garbage bags is to throw them away. Here's one. Do I want that there, or do I want it here? I think I want it like that. And in the bag of hardware, we should have some long, thin screws for the fans. This isn't even in the Ziploc bag, which sucks because you're gonna save some of these screws. You're not gonna use them all. So I know I threw a Ziploc bag down here that's a lot smaller. Here, we'll reuse this one. I'm telling you, CORSAIR, they're losing their way big time. And Noctua is too. CORSAIR's moving in a direction I don't agree with regards to their cases and their coolers. And Noctua just isn't moving at all. So these are the screws I was looking for, these long screws here. So we can go all the way through the fan and then down into the radiator and lock that radiator and fan into position around the frame. And I just want to line it up. And you want to start one corner, any corner at all, just pick one and just start it. Don't tighten it. And then we're going to do the other corner. And in doing that, actually, I should put a little washer on here. There's these little washers here. So we'll pull that other one back up. Oh, wow. With these dampeners on, there's not much of the screw to go into the radiator. It's when you put the washer on it, combined with the dampeners, the dampers, there's only a few threads left to reach through the other side. So, you know, the option is don't put the dampeners on. You gotta use these washers though, or the screw could go right through the opening because the head's not wide enough. It's just Corsair playing, somebody's playing by different rules than everybody else. Would it have killed them to make the screw a little bit longer? Did they not test fit different manufacturers' fans? Because they know they're giving you crappy fans. Why wouldn't they test fit the one everybody, all the enthusiasts talk about is Noctua. It's not like there's some unheard of brand that only a few people use. So Corsair's just living in Corsair's little world. And this is what happens in this industry. You can praise a company and they can be doing great, and then all of a sudden they start going the wrong way. And this typically happens when management changes. Somebody in the company left or was replaced. And it's probably all about money and has nothing to do with the product itself. That's been my experience with large corporations. It's just lose their ways. Lose their way. They start out good and then they just start going off in different directions and forgot why they started business to begin with. I really get the sense that's what Corsair's been doing lately. Otherwise, nothing makes any sense otherwise. Why is this not lining up? See, we got the other three ends, so the fourth one should just line up by default. And if it doesn't, we just have to loosen them all. I can't see anything. Let's get a flashlight in there. Oh, I can see this is not lined up right. It's got to go all the way over to one side. I think it'll work now. You got to be careful because the radiator is made of a very soft material and it's very easy to push these screws through the dampeners and over tighten them. I think just where they're at is perfect. We're not sealing it against water or anything. Isn't that weird that they give you one of each color and the rest are in the box? Like, I don't get that. I don't understand what they're thinking. Keep all the product together. It's not like there's a see-through box where you can see that. You can't see that through the box. It's just stupid. Okay, we're gonna put that on the same way. We want to make sure those cables are coming out of this side. Come on now. Come on now. Ooh, might have over-tightened that. A little too tight. We're okay. All right, and the rest of these screws I'm going to put in this bag here. And then all of these dampers we'll just put in this Ziploc here. That came with the cooler. How appropriate. Okay. You know what, there's probably a piece of plastic on here I have to remove. Yep, there is. All right. God, I love how easily NZXT has made that whole process, just taken the pain right out of it. There we go. We're getting there. I mean, the hardest part, I guess, is getting those fans put on the radiator. That's the most time-consuming part of it, you know? It's not difficult. It's just takes time. Yeah, we got good RAM clearance. Probably should have checked that before I installed it, but we're okay. We're okay. It's all good. And let's put the front back on. That's all of our front port umbilicals right there. Okay, I need to take a little breather. So let's talk. What's on your mind? What you got for me? Getting a mess down here. Jeffrey Lebowski says, Carey, I just bought a nuka-cola case on Amazon. It's a great case, man. It's a great case. Carey is the slowest growing YouTuber, just 205,000 views in over 10 years. We're building a community. Not everybody fits into the community. It's kind of a niche community. There's no marketing budget, so it's only word of mouth. And I haven't really been going full tilt for 10 years on YouTube. I would say really most of the YouTube growth and attention has been since around 2012 is when I started taking it more seriously. But even then, that's nothing to brag about with regards to the viewers. But we're all about quality and not quantity. I'd rather have 205,000 awesome viewers than 1 million viewers with 200,000 awesome viewers and 800,000 trolls and monsters, you know? So I'd rather get to know you guys. And as you can tell with the names in blue, and there's a lot of first name basis back and forth, where do you see that on YouTube? Where do you see that kind of interactive nature of creators with their viewers? I'd like to see more of it. Otherwise, it's just basically television, isn't it? So I think some people get that. Some people understand. It's kind of like hanging out with me, you know? Like we're just friends hanging out. So, I mean, it'd be great if there was 1 million. If they were all of the quality of the 200,000 I've got, but I want that quality first and foremost. And there's nothing nothing tricked into those. Nobody was tricked into subscribing or tricked into watching videos. You know what I mean? It's all organically grown. It's all natural and organic. Non-GMO. Oh, I'm not having a good hair day today. What's going on? I guess I should be lucky I have hair at all, huh? I did get 5,000 new viewers in 5 weeks. Yeah, 1,000 subscribers a week, though. Even then, that's 52,000 a year. It's a long way to 300,000, isn't it? More than a year away. But hey, you know what? It's all about us. Let's talk about us. You're the people who are here, and I'm here, and we're the ones that matter. Anybody else that's missing out, hey, maybe someday they'll join us if they choose to be part of the community. It'd be great. And if not, we have each other. What else do you need? All right, let's see here. It is not your dinner time yet, boy. No, don't look at me with those eyes. Told you that doesn't work on me anymore. I'm immune to the ways of the Force that you use. You're gonna have to come up with another trick. Yeah, you're gonna have to be more original, Lyle. You got to come up with something else. Find another angle. Yeah, did you give up? What's up, Jimmy? My boy. What the heck is that for? It's not time. Your clock is off by a half an hour. Why don't you go bark at something? Give me that look. What, we talked about this already. Don't give me that look. I'm not interested. It's tough love. You want a box? Is that what you want? What do you want? You want the power supply box? You want the cooler box? He's just going to his jar of cookies. No. Do you want the box, though? He's ignoring me now. Lyle. Lyle. There he is. Here, hold on. Hold on a minute, let's see. Hold on a minute, here, come here. You want this box? Where's Jimmy? Hi, Jimmy. Lyle. You want this power supply box? You want it? Here, you want to take it by the handle? No? Don't like EVGA? How about your bark box? You want your bark box? You want that bark box? You want it? It's right over there. You're a good boy. And you, just standing over there by the cookies. What's your plan? You just give me those eyes? Lyle. Lyle. Boy, talking to you with your folded ear. I know you can hear me. Yeah, just walk away. I see how it's going to be. Spoiled, rotten dog. Yeah, that's what it's like living with Lyle. Sure, it looks glamorous, but he's a diva. Oh, he's getting his box. You gonna get that box? Get it. Get that box. Get it. There you go. Get that box. Fuzzy butt. Look at that tail. Showing off your plumage. All right. There you go. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. Pain in the butt. But you're a good boy. I think I just heard that roll away. All right, so there's already thermal compound applied from CORSAIR on the bottom of the water pump. So that's why there's this plastic cover on here to protect it. So we only remove that when we're ready to install, which we are. Standoffs are in, back plate is in, and now it's just a simple matter of mounting the block. I can't get over how light and small the block is, which is, I don't know, is that good or bad? Let's see here. A little difficult to do on the Lazy Susan, but this is the toughest corner to get on. It's because it's by the RAM. And we're going to start these by hand. And I don't want to torque them down too much, but I want to speed this process up a little bit. So opposite corners. Okay. Now tighten them down by hand. That's good. 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 That's all there is to that. Water block is installed. These cables here, we're going to feed these up and out through the top. I think that's going to be the best. Up and out. Except for one of them that's going to go on the all-in-one pump header. This is for the fans to plug into right here. And that's going to provide power to the pump right there. And the RGB lighting. Which one of these is the all-in-one pump? Flashlight and glasses time. I guess we're just going to put it on the CPU fan header because that's all I see. Okay, that looks good. And then we'll come around the back and we'll put the, there's only 2 fan headers here. That's obviously what we're gonna plug the 2 fans on the radiator into. They're both 4-pin fans, which is good because it's a 4-pin header. And this rear fan cable, we'll get that out of this wire management here. We're gonna run that down in here. And the other CPU fan, plug in. Doesn't matter which one you plug in where. You just want both of the radiator fans plugged into the fan headers that go to the water pump, so the CORSAIR software can control that. Where's my USB 3 on here? USB 3 right there. There we go. Well, that's all twisted, isn't it? That kind of looks terrible like that. Why did they do that? Don't like that. Try that again. So this power connector is going to power the NZXT logo on the power supply shroud, and that fan connector is going to power the pump and the RGB lighting on the pump. So we'll have to run a power cable from the power supply to those. And what else do we have to plug in? We've got the front I/O. HD audio, let's get that out of the way. Nice, like that. Very good. Let's get the Q connector out of the box. We'll use that when I do with the box. It's over here. Sorry. ASUS is the Q connector. GIGABYTE is the G connector. Because you look at it and you go, gee, Rick, are you sure that's going to work? Yeah, Morty, of course it's going to work. It's not a defraculator, Morty. Power switch. There is no reset switch on this case. Which is fine. Hard drive LED. Power LED. That's all there is to that. And now this will just plug right onto the motherboard header. I think we probably could come in right from the bottom here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Kool-Aid. And now we can just plug that straight on. And now you don't have to fuss about with the individual cables. You just plug the whole header. I got it upside down. Yeah, I put the power switch over by the speaker for some reason. Why did I do that? Not paying attention to what I'm doing, apparently. So the hard drive LED has to go here. And then the power LED goes right above that. I don't know what I was doing. Had it backwards. It's clearly labeled, so got no excuse. It's not like I've never done this before. It's not like I can't read. You know how I knew I screwed up? Because it wouldn't plug in. And you never use force. If it doesn't go on easily, you're doing something wrong. Because these were plugged into the wrong places, it wouldn't allow, in the case that, in the way that I did it, it would not allow for it to plug in. There's certain holes that have to line up in certain areas on this connector where there are no holes. So if you don't have it oriented in the proper direction, it just simply doesn't go on. And if you force it, that's bad. You'll break something. So that went on a lot easier. Should be a USB 2 cable in here. There it is. We should be able to run that right up through here as well. And plug it in right there. Same thing, it should, if you're in the right connector, you just kind of wiggle and push on it. It should go right in without any force. Don't use the force. It's looking clean, nice and clean. Let's see, guess we're gonna hook up some power cables now, huh? Getting exciting. We're almost ready for our power on self-test. I'm going to do this backwards. I think I'm going to go ahead and plug everything onto the motherboard and connectors first, and then plug into the power supply last, since I have to yank the power supply out to get to the back of it. Well, at least get to the back of it easier. Bada boom, bada bing. That looks good. I need an 8-pin power cable for the motherboard. That's VGA. It's nice it says VGA on it instead of PCI Express. I like that, because it's not like you're going to plug anything PCI Express with power other than a video card, so it's a little less confusing for a first-time builder. Here we go. This one's labeled CPU. Perfect. And we're going to plug one end of that right up here. I still have that rear case fan to plug in, don't I? Where am I going to plug this rear case fan in at? Appears to be in some kind of a wire loop right there. It's an interesting choice. deal with that later. And let's give power then to the pump and the LED. So that's going to be one of these, yes. I could probably go to the hard drive as well, or the solid state drive back here. I think all 3 power connectors, there should be 3. Yes, I have 3. Should be able to go one right here. Why is that in my way? Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, that sounded like 25 miles an hour. Okay, let's see. Where you at? There it is. Just plug this in here for now. Worry about cleaning it up later. Should have one more. Oh, it's going to be all the way up there, isn't it? Of course it is. There we go. Okay, and now we can just plug these 3 cables, the motherboard power, the SATA power, and the CPU power into the back of the power supply. And I'll worry about hooking up hard drive power later. Obviously, you'll need another SATA power cable for that. And the back of the power supply has plenty of connections for that. So let's go ahead and just temporarily take the power supply out so I can just see better. That's why I didn't tighten it down. Just didn't want it to flop around in there until I was ready. That's going to be a tight fit. So let's save that one for last. This is SATA power. That's going to go, let's see, we're going to go all the way to the end right there. And then I need CPU power next, so we'll run that one right through here. Oh, I got it plugged in backwards. It's backwards. This connector goes to the back of the power supply. See, it's in one piece. And this connector says some motherboards have a 4-pin, some have an 8. So that's the split connector is what goes on the motherboard. We're going to use them both on this build. Just kind of hold them together and line them up. Make sure the clip faces the outside edge. That's installed. Run the other side out. See, it's really easy to correct little mistakes like that. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Okay, and then finally just the motherboard power connector, which, man, I wish they gave me just a little bit more. I mean, it's enough, but it's just when the power supply is inserted, it's fine, but that's the length I can get, which means I'm going to have to work on this the hard way, unfortunately. My flashlight again. Let's see here. Yeah, now the CPU power's in my way. Can't see. It's going to come out. See, the power supply shroud looks nice, but it does sort of get in the way of building. It'd be nice if that shroud was easily removed for this very purpose. There's one. All right, time for the big connector. 2, and now CPU power can go back. 3. Okay, very good. What is going on? Come on. NZXT could use a little work on their alignment. Let's put hybrid mode on. That'll turn the fan off when it's not needed. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for its very first boot up ever. Oh, wait a minute. This has to have power too? Oh yeah, I suppose it would. That's the front fans. Just trying to sort through this mess of cables. Let's bring it in right up through here, I guess. No. No, no, no. Get it down. Get around. Am I around? Yeah. Okay. Good, good. Sedite, sedite. It's okay, it's okay. All right. All right, I still have the USB cable to hook up for the cooler, which isn't entirely necessary, but I might as well just get it out of the way now. And that's going to go on. Is it going up? It's a tight fit, isn't it? Can't tell which direction it goes on. Hello, USB Type-C. Corsair, let's get with it. Why you gotta be like this? Yeah, looks like it's gonna go up. Which is fine, that means we can route the cable straight up and out the back. Let's hope Corsair gave us enough cable. Looks like they did. And we'll bring that down through here and into the remaining USB 2 header right next to the other one we're using for the case. That uses them both. That's great. I build a lot of motherboards where we simply don't use one of the USB 2 headers. It seems a shame to me to do that. All right, I need a power cable, and let's see, I need a video cable, I need a mouse and a keyboard. So let's move this mouse and keyboard over here. Let's grab this keyboard. And this mouse. go. Okay. Like so. Power supply's in the off position. And we're going to use your monitor as the test monitor. We're going to use onboard video. So it's an HDMI and a display port. I thought it was 2 HDMIs. Looks good. Looks good. Flip the switch to on. All right, guys, you ready? You ready for the power on test? Here we go. Fans are turning. Dead silent, by the way. Oh, I should switch over to my input. Let's see what happens. First boot, you want to give it up to 90 seconds. Oh, something's happening. System shut off and it's turning back on now. I haven't touched anything. RAM's lit up. And BIOS has appeared. So far, so good. Okay, and that's the message we want to see. Let me grab a flash drive and let's boot. Let's update the BIOS. There's got to be a newer BIOS version. This is a good time to do that. I don't want to install Windows or anything yet. As I mentioned, the customer, I think, wants a RAID 0 array from the 2 Samsung 970 EVOs, so I got to talk to him before I go any further than that. Let me get the flash drive plugged in here. And what do we have? An AORUS Gaming 7. So let me Google that. Z370 Gaming 7. There's GIGABYTE's website. RGB Fusion, triple M.2 with thermal guard. Yes, yes, yes. Support BIOS. Current BIOS is version F10, which was released on the 20th of September. That's pretty new. Optimized for Intel 9th Gen core processors. I guess that's why that update came out. Got the zip file. I'm going to extract all of this temporarily in my downloads folder and copy the BIOS file itself, which is .f10. And we're going to put that onto the flash drive. Copy and paste. Done. Very good. Then I can safely disconnect the flash drive. And plug it in over on this rig. Let's shut this one down. And we'll just find an empty USB port here. That'll do. Plug her back in and hit the end key on the keyboard, E and D, which is where on this keyboard? Can't find it. Oh, it's the right arrow, function right arrow. Waited too long, didn't I? No recognition. Function right arrow. Function right arrow. Why is that not working? Control Alt Delete. Let's just go in the BIOS and do it that way. I don't know why this keyboard is not. Delete, 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 delete. What is going on? Why is this keyboard? You know what? Could be a USB 3 I'm in. I should be in USB 2. Let's try that again. Helps when I watch the live feed instead of watching the YouTube feed, which is about 90 seconds late. That makes a big difference when I'm watching an actual live feed. Okay, so let's go over to, is it under chipset? No. Save and exit? No. Smart fan? No. Where did my Q flash go? It used to be up here. It's in here somewhere. I can't see with me in the corner. There's something up there I can't see. Oh, it's just the date and time. What BIOS version are we on? F1. Holy smokes. Wow. Guess that's been sitting in inventory for a while, huh? My goodness, Jimmy, you want to save some of that water for the fish? Used to be an option that said tools. It's not there anymore. Oops. Q flash, it's down here now. Update the BIOS. It already sees it. Very good. That's the one I want. I don't know why it does this. Try again. Well, that's not a good sign. BIOS ID check. What am I doing wrong? This is what happens if you're trying to put the wrong BIOS on the motherboard. So let me just take another look at the website. Maybe I just went too quickly. This is Z370 Gaming 7. Z370 Gaming 7. Intel gaming board. I'd say that's it. I don't know why it wouldn't provide it. It looks like the right everything. BIOS shows version F10. Wonder what's going on. Let me download it again. Let me download it from Asia. Maybe the download itself was bad. And let's see if we can just copy the BIOS file out of it. Hang in there, guys. I'm still here. It's just trying to update this flash drive with the latest BIOS version. Let me plug it back into the motherboard. Let's try this. Let's turn it back on. And I'll hit end on the keyboard this time. I should watch the live feed instead of the YouTube feed. Update BIOS. It does not like that BIOS for some reason. Oh, it's the Gaming 7 OP because it's got the, I see, because it's got the Optane. Surprised they would have a separate BIOS for that. Shut this back down. And let's see here. Grab that flash drive, plug it in over here. All right, I'm just going to extract the files of the flash drive, of the zip file onto the flash drive, and that's done. And let's minimize that. And we'll go over here and let's eject. Thank you, Catherine. Okay, let's try this one more time. Flash. Update. That's better. Helps when you have the right BIOS file. Just deleting those BIOS files I downloaded. And 2 different versions of it on there, and once they're on the flash drive, I don't need them anymore, so just doing that little maintenance while I'm waiting. It's going to reboot itself, so I'll just let it sit and take care of that on its own. And the thing is dead quiet. Absolutely just silent. Again, you got to be patient. The BIOS is still updating, so just the system is already turned off and turned back on all by itself twice now. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. It'll boot when it's ready. It's coming. It's shut off now a third time. And now the RAM's lit up, and we should be in BIOS version F10 now. I'm sure we are. Just gonna let it sit for a minute. Look at that, it shut itself off for a 4th time. Again, just leave it alone. It's thinking, it's processing, doing its thing. And was it just gonna be in a loop now? What's happening? Well, all right, very good. Very, very good. That's what it's supposed to do. I mean, ultimately, we got where we needed to go. We should see BIOS version F10, and we do. Very good. Very good. I think that is going to be today's build, ladies and gentlemen. I think that is it. You can see that thing is all lit up, nice and pretty. I'll give you a nice little look at that with the lights down. Maybe a little zoom in on here too. Let's see. NZXT logo lit up. Yep. Tilt the board a little bit. Those colors are a little washed out on the video for some reason. That gives you a better idea what the colors look like. All right, guys. And look at that. We're a little after 5 o'clock here, which is dinner time for you guys, isn't it? You guys are hungry? Are you hungry? I guess that's a yes. Yeah. All right, guys, thank you once again for joining me. Thanks to everybody who's contributed to today's channel. I appreciate all your contributions, and all the money does go back into the channel. And I want to thank all my people in blue, all my friends in blue there. Kind words from Jesse Kirk. Thank you, Jesse. Again, thanks to everybody for joining me, especially for the people in blue with the wrenches. They keep all the trolls, you know, at bay, keep it civil in the chat. I thought Carey hated RGB. Yes, I do hate RGB. You think I'm going to tell a customer I'm not going to build their computer because I don't like RGB? What are you, insane? Customer wants RGB? Customer gets RGB. It's not rocket science, people. But keep trying to demonize me and find me to be a hypocrite. See how that works out for you. Okay, thank you guys again so much. Ben, Shane, Jen, Samuel, Christoph, thank you so much. And everybody's names I haven't mentioned. I appreciate you guys tuning in and joining me and hanging out with me here in the kitchen as we build nuka-cola number 3 right over there. I have to talk to John and find out, just verify he wants to do RAID 0. I will do it on camera. I won't do that off camera, so don't worry, you won't miss anything. And gosh, there was one other thing. There'll be some more quick tips videos posted now that my sister is finding her groove with the editing. And of course, thanks to Mikey Beckers for contributing the edit that he did. I think there's another one. I might twist his arm into editing for me. Just a short video looking at the temps for the different cooling solutions I tried on Thready, just to minimize that into one video. We'll see if we can't get that done for you. So, time to feed the dogs. I will see you all very, very soon. And until then, bye for now.